Hello and welcome to Carrying the Message. I'm your host, Marcel Williams, and I have a wonderful show for you today. I have a very good friend of mine that has decided to come on my talk show and bless us with her presence. Her name is Myasha. Please welcome Myasha to the show. Hey Myasha, how's it going?
It's going good. How's it going with you?
Girl, I'm doing fine. What's going on?
Well, I'm staying busy.
Are you staying busy?
Staying busy. Yes.
Well, do you know what? The last time I saw you, we were at an event where you had homeless women. Can you give us a little bit of information about that event?
The event was a fashion show. It was a Mother's Day fashion show. I put on a fashion show for the homeless women every year. And I usually do it at Christmas time, but this time I decided to do a Mother's Day fashion show. And the reason I did it was to raise money and awareness to the fact that the homeless women are, they're the last on the totem pole. And so I opened up a transitional home for living for women. It's called Myasha's House of Dreams. It's a transitional living facility for homeless women. And the fashion show was to raise money for that, and all the models were from the homeless shelter.
Well, that was a fantastic show. I mean, it was just amazing to see those women's faces lit up. They were all made up. Did you have a makeup artist come and do the makeup for the women?
Well, there's an organization, a lady out in Tempe. She has a hair store, and she came and did the makeup for the ladies that particular day.
Wow.
Because I couldn't do everything.
Wow. You see, like you were pretty busy that day. You were pretty busy.
Yes.
But it was just so wonderful. Now, what made you deal with the homeless women? What made you have a heart for women that are homeless?
Well, you know, I've always had a heart for women, but when in '91 I was living in a homeless shelter. I had a nervous breakdown, and I wound up at the shelter. I was out on the streets using drugs, and I got beat up by some drug dealers. And when they took me to the hospital and they stitched my face up, they took me to the homeless shelter. I didn't even know the homeless shelter existed. And I lived there for 5 months. Because after living there, I looked around and I realized that a lot of those women had never had anybody tell them they loved them. They had never had care. Some people had lived in their cars all their lives. And I realized that God put me there for a reason. So I started making friends with a lot of the homeless women, and I found out that homeless women, single homeless women, they don't have any place for them. They have shelters for women with children, they have shelters for men, they have a lot of programs out there for families. But for single homeless women, there was really nothing. And so after living there, I went from living there to the board of directors, and I've been on the board of directors since '92.
Wow, wait a minute. Now you went from being homeless to the board of directors.
To the board of directors.
Wow. Now how did that happen?
Well, you know, I started looking around and realizing that some of the staff were treating the women like we were crazy because we were homeless. And I didn't like that, because I told them, I said, just because we're homeless does not mean everybody's a drug addict, everybody's not an alcoholic. There's some intelligent women that are living in the shelter for whatever reasons that they're there. And so some of the staff were just, well, you're homeless, so you don't matter. I didn't like that at all. So I started complaining. I created a women advisory board while I was living there for the guests. And I took about 27 women to one of the board meetings with a list of complaints and demands. And they thought I was crazy.
Wow.
Because it's the public open meeting.
Public meeting, right.
And so I took them, and when we got there, I said, this is our list of demands. And I kept going back to the board meeting because they weren't making changes fast enough. I got some supervisors fired and had them rewrite the employee manual. And
now, during all of this, could you have gotten kicked out of the homeless shelter?
Yes. Yeah. But
Wow.
I followed the rules.
Oh, good.
As long as I followed the rules, I said, God put me here. As long as I follow these rules, I'm not worried about being put out. Even though they tried to even give me a job. I said, I refuse to take the job because I can't stay on the board if I take the job.
Okay, so you can't be on the board of directors and be a resident in,
Yeah.
in the facility.
Yeah. So I've been
Okay.
on the board. I chose the board and I've been there.
Wow, isn't that amazing?
Mhm.
Wow, we can go from homeless to the board of directors. God is amazing, isn't he?
All the time, every day.
Wow, so you just took that leap of faith. Most people would have been in a homeless shelter and just, whatever, happens to them in the shelter, they're very quiet because it's a place that they can actually continue to keep living there for free.
Right.
But you chose not to.
No, they can stay there for 6 months. They can allow them to stay for 6 months without paying rent, but it didn't make any sense to me, because if you're going to mistreat me, I don't care where I am. I've got to be there.
Oh, okay. If you could just talk a little bit louder,
Okay.
that'd be fine. Them being mistreated. So was a lot of people really being mistreated and being, taken advantage of in those type of facilities?
The rules and the regulations, they would change. Some of the staff would have different rules. They had the rule book, but some staff followed the rule book and some staff didn't.
Okay.
And so a lot of people were being treated, if you got a mental problem and you don't talk as fast, they would look down on you. They were looking down on us because we were homeless. And I didn't like that at all. And I told them, I said, we need to be treated like human beings. Just because we're homeless doesn't mean we're crazy.
Exactly.
And they found out really soon that I was not to be played with.
Now, you've been on the board of directors for that particular facility for how long?
Since 92.
Since 1992.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a long
It's
time.
a long time.
That's a long time. What are some of the changes that you were able to implement by being on the board?
Well, we got a new director.
Oh wow! Okay, okay.
we got a new director, and a lot of and the rule book has been rewritten again. And I speak for the women. If there's any issues that go on the board, when I go in there, I speak for the women. I speak for the clients because I'm the only homeless person that's on the board. And most people, when they at that time they had 4 slots. Now they only have 2 slots for formerly homeless guests. And when people leave the shelter, they don't want to come back. I understand that they don't want to come back, but I come back because I'm the voice for them.
Right,
I speak for them, and so I still sit on the board.
So you come back, and that's wonderful. That's a very powerful position that you're in. From being homeless to the board of director, being on the board of directors, and then being able to come back every year and set and be the voice for those women that have not stepped foot in that facility as of yet.
Yeah.
So this is for the future and the past.
Yeah, but I don't go every year. I'm there every week.
Every week.
month. I spend a lot of time at the shelter. I do motivational speaking to the homeless women. I have a class that I do on Thursday nights. I give them donations. I pick up donations from all over the city.
Now, let's talk about that. How do you get donations for the facility? Do you go out and do you write letters of support?
I send an email out saying my Asia's closet is empty. I have a closet there that's called my Asia's closet, and I get and I tell them I don't want any jeans, no tennis shoes, no t-shirts, because I want the women to dress up and feel good about themselves.
And people just donate?
They just donate.
Now, what the type of people that are donating, are these women that just have clothes and say, I'm going to clean out my closet,
Right.
you
Yeah.
come and get whatever you
Yes.
want?
They come, I come and I tell them every year, it's spring cleaning time. I send out an email, it's spring cleaning time, clean out your closets. And I get a lot of things that still have tags on them, because women, you know how we like to shop.
Yeah,
we like to shop.
Don't talk about me. Don't
we
talk
buy
about me
things.
right now. Don't talk about all the clothes I got in my closet still with tags on
We
them.
buy things and we don't wear them.
And we don't wear
And
them.
so I have them, I suggest that they give them to the homeless shelter. And so
That is absolutely
my Asia's closet
fantastic.
stays full. It's full of
Stays
stuff.
full.
Stays
Now,
full.
how do you keep the facility going economically?
Well,
Do the women pay to stay in your home, or how does that work?
There's 2 homes. There's a cash shelter, which is the homeless shelter downtown. That's where my Asia's closet is.
Oh, okay.
But the transitional home is, I just opened up, and I've got 5 women in there right now. That just opened up last week, and they will have to pay to be there. I want to sponsor them for the first 3 months. That's what I'm trying to do, is get sponsorship for the first 3 months. And I just sponsored 2 of the women, and so we're asking for sponsorships for 3 months, and then the women will have to have jobs.
Okay, so when you ask for, okay, now how do you get your sponsor? Now, do you do the same way with the clothes and ask for people to support that way as you do with cash money for the
Yes.
women to be able to stay in the home?
Yes.
Wow. Now, how much is it in dollar and cents does it cost to sponsor a woman?
It's $400 a month.
$400 a month for a woman to stay there.
Mhm.
And that $400 a month includes what?
Bed, includes your room, it includes the internet television, it includes the cable television, computer, room and board.
So gas, water, electricity, all their
electricity, all that's
utilities are
included, all that's
included. Food is included.
No, they have to. We get food boxes from a church that's down on Bethel AME Church that's down on 40th. But we also, the women have to apply for food stamps. They can get food stamps. And so they just went shopping the other day, and so we got plenty of food in there.
Well, that is wonderful. That is really wonderful. Now, if someone wanted to sponsor a woman, look in the camera and tell them how they can contact you for you to be able to, for them to be able to sponsor a woman. Because you know what, before you look in the camera, I just want to say that there's a lot of people that, you know, believe in paying tithes and offering and love to give to charitable donations. If they wanted to just, you know, give their tithes every month to your facility, how would they go about doing that?
They would send a check to Myasia's House of Dreams at P.O. Box 83375, Phoenix, Arizona 85071. They can make the check out to Myasia Pashaw, P-A-S-H-A is my last name, or they can make it to the Perfect Image, which is the subsidiary that I'm under.
Okay, could you do me a favor? Now, Myasia, can you spell that for them just in case?
M-I-A-S-I-A, Myasia. My last name is P-A-S-H-A, Pashaw.
Myasia Pashaw. And if you're having difficulties with any of that information, you can always contact me at carryingthemessage.net, and I can get that information over to you, because it would be a wonderful way to just help, if you want to ever help homeless people, excuse me, or a homeless shelter, is to have them have the money sent over to the homes where the women can live in a place in a safe environment. And that's a pretty safe environment.
I call them my homeless but not hopeless honeys.
Homeless but not hopeless.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Homeless but not hopeless.
And how many women do you have there now?
I have 5 there right now.
5 women.
And the house holds 8. So I'm looking at some other applications for next week.
Now, if a person is homeless and needs to contact you, how would they go about doing that?
They can contact me through my phone number, 602-999-8889. That's 602-999-8889.
And what are some of the qualifications that would qualify a person to live in your facility?
They can go to the homeless shelter. There's no qualifications for the emergency shelter, which is CAS. But to come into my house, they have to be willing, to clean and sober first. No mental problems, because this is a house for women who are ready to step up and get ready for the rest of their lives, because we got mentors for them, we got training programs for them. So the only requirements would be that they would be willing to work a clean and sober program, and that they do have the ability to go out and gain employment.
Okay.
Yes, because after 3 months they're going to have a job. Okay. They can stay there 6 to 9 months.
Okay, it's a 6 to 9 month program.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Now let me ask you this. Now, some women, some people that are homeless do have some kind of mental, sometimes, not all, but if they have just a mild mental disorder going on and they're under medication, are they still able to be in your facility?
Yes, they can still be there.
They can still be there.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, they got to make sure they self-medicate themselves. Yes, they got to be taking their own medication, and because it's not a babysitter.
Okay, so you guys don't distribute medication on your facility?
No.
So these people have to be well enough to take their medication on their own?
Right.
Great.
Yes.
Great. That is fantastic. I mean, I just think it's just a wonderful job that you're doing. Again, my name is Marcel Williams. I'm the host of this show. And if you ever really want to bless someone and you just don't know where to send your money, Myasia House of Dreams is a perfect place for you to send your money, and you can actually sponsor a young lady, a woman that needs to be sponsored, that is working her way back into the society. Self-sufficiency, exactly. Exactly, self-sufficiency. Wow. I don't know how much more time we have, but we have about 5 more minutes. Is there anything else about Myasia? Let's talk about, now you talked about CAS. A lot of people don't know about CAS. Now that's where you are on the board of directors.
Right.
You're the board of directors for CAS. What does CAS stand for?
Central Arizona Shelter Services.
Okay.
And it's the largest emergency shelter services in Arizona. And it's the emergency shelter. We house 150 women and about 400 men every night. It's a large homeless shelter. And anybody off the streets can come in there. But we run out of room a lot of times.
That's what I was
so
going to ask you.
We have an overflow across the street. We house another 300 men. And then UMOM has a overflow shelter also that houses about 200 other women.
Uh-huh.
And we also have a family shelter called Vista Colina where we have apartments up north, Sunny Slope, where we house families. There's always a waiting list though.
Always,
And
yeah.
we just bought, we have a transitional house called Still Commons that's over on Grand. And it's a hotel that was turned into apartments for single living